The Surface Book 2 15-inch was my main laptop for over a year before I switched over to mainly using the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but I started using this laptop and I'm back in love with Surface again. This is my Surface Book 3 15-inch review. So the Surface Book 3 originally came out in May 2020, so almost 9 months later, is the Surface Book 3 still worth it? Right away, I'll tell you that this laptop is very expensive, but it's also unique. There's no other laptop like it. The design hasn't changed from the previous model. You still have a detachable display, which is a 15-inch with 3240 by 2160 resolution, 3:2 aspect ratio, which I prefer over the traditional 16:9 aspect ratio. I like that this arrangement gives me more vertical space. It's really handy when editing videos because I have a taller timeline area while not sacrificing the preview area as well. The downside to this is that when you're watching movies, you'll notice larger black bars on top and bottom of the videos. There are two color profiles, enhanced for normal everyday use and sRGB if you want to make sure you have accurate colors when editing videos or photos. You can easily switch between these two options in the Action Center. And this is one of those things I love about Surface products. A lot of the settings are done through Windows 10 instead of a separate app. On other laptops I've used, if I need to change the display color profile, I need to open the laptop company settings or open like a Dolby Vision app. There's a lot going on with this detachable display, and even though it's huge at 15 inches, it's actually very light at just 1.8 pounds. Above the display is a 1080p camera and Windows Hello face unlock. I used to never care about the front-facing camera on laptops, but I've done a lot more video calls in the past year, and the front camera on the Surface Book is so much better than most laptops because they mostly have 720p cameras. Another unique feature is the rear-facing 8-megapixel camera. I barely use it, but an awesome use case is taking photos of documents directly from the Surface Book instead of your phone. No need to do file transfers, just take a photo, edit, or share. Speaking of the camera, I also really like Windows Hello to unlock. It feels so much faster than fingerprint unlock. I just open the lid and the Surface Book automatically recognizes me to unlock. Or if the lid is already open, I click one of the keys to wake up the laptop and it automatically unlocks when it sees my face. Another unique feature is the front-facing speakers. Most other laptops usually have these on the keyboard deck. What's great about them is that they're pointed directly towards you, and since they're part of the detachable part of the Surface Book, they're still functional when you take the display away from the keyboard. The headphone jack is also located on the top half of the Surface Book 3, which is great if you need headphones in tablet mode, but I'm not a fan of the placement since it's placed so high. The headphone cable is dangling in front of me when I'm video editing or watching videos with headphones. It's a little bit distracting. The keyboard feels fine to type on. I love that there's no additional column to the right of backspace, enter, and shift buttons. There's a dedicated button to detach the display, which you have to press and hold to activate. There's also backlighting for the keys, but it's only really useful when it's very dark. The keys are silver, so if you turn on the lights during the day, the letters become hard to see. The trackpad feels really great to touch. It's responsive. As expected, it does all the Windows gestures really well, like 3-finger swipe up for task view, 3-finger swipe left or right for switching apps, and 4-finger tap for Action Center or the Notification Center. However, I think in the next model, Microsoft should consider going a little bigger with this trackpad. The right side of the Surface Book 3 is the same as the previous model. It has the USB Type-C port and a magnetic charging port. The USB-C port is not Thunderbolt 3, but it supports display out and power delivery. This means that you can use this for an external display and even fast charging a phone like my Pixel 5. If you were wondering, yes, you can also charge the Surface Book 3 using the USB-C port. I tested the 65-watt USB-C charger from another laptop and it worked. The left side has two USB Type-A ports and an SD card slot. I love the inclusion of the SD card slot. It's great for photographers or video editors who can simply take off the card from the cameras and put it into the Surface Book 3. Now that I'm using more devices with USB-C though, I'd like Microsoft to include more USB-C ports in the future. You can configure a Surface Book 3 with 10th gen Intel Core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs storage, and NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Ti Max-Q for $2,299. This review unit got some upgrades. It has 512 gigs storage, 32 gigs of RAM, and NVIDIA Quadro RTX 3000 Max-Q graphics, which is available only on the Surface for Business website. My jaw dropped when I saw the price. It's $3,500. When Microsoft sent this over for review, I didn't know Quadro RTX graphics was an option. You won't see it on the main Microsoft Store website, but you'll see it on the Surface for Business website, and this made me learn a few things. The business version of the Surface Book 3 gets Windows 10 Pro instead of Home. Surface Book 3 for Business also gives you options for GTX or Quadro graphics, like what's been added here. I'm very happy with the performance. I'm glad that 32 gigs is an option, which definitely helps. I can easily switch between applications and run my office tasks with ease. I also do a bit of video editing and had no issues there. I shoot with a Canon EOS RP, editing with 1080p files, but exporting in 4K for YouTube. Again, no issues with scrubbing the timeline or exporting videos. For reference, exporting a 10-minute 1080p timeline into a 4K video for YouTube takes about 6 minutes, which is actually very good. If you want to see some numbers, here's a look at some benchmarks. So I'm not a big gamer, but you can certainly game on the Surface Book 3. I play a little bit of Call of Duty Warzone, and I'm able to play at 1080p on medium-high settings at 60 frames per second. I'm very satisfied with the fan noise. It's quiet during normal hours, and when it's time for serious work or gaming, it's not distracting at all. I can hear the whooshing sound when I'm exporting videos or playing Call of Duty, but it's not aggressively loud compared to other workstations that I've used. The Surface Book 3 came with Windows 10 Pro. I was happy to see no unnecessary apps like third-party antivirus software, which is the case on some of the other laptops I've reviewed. And coming from a MacBook in the past year, I've come to appreciate a lot of Windows 10 features. For example, I really like Action Center to see all my open windows. I also like that I can close apps from this view, unlike the MacBook. Another favorite I have is the built-in clipboard manager. I can Control-C several times and then hit Windows V to show a history of what I've copied. Another handy feature is hovering over an app in the taskbar will show preview of those windows if you have multiple windows of that app open. Battery is about 7 hours with normal office use like browsing the web, editing documents, and checking emails, but I'm mostly using the laptop on my desk, so it's usually plugged in. So that's the Surface Book 3 for Business. To sum it up, it's really expensive, but you're getting something that's unique. Not everyone needs a form factor like this, but having the option to detach the display and use it as a 15-inch tablet is really nice. I'm also a big fan of the 3:2 aspect ratio, and I'm noticing more companies are starting to do the same. Surface has been doing this for a while now. I also like the balance of power and battery life on the Surface Book 3. It's not insanely thick or heavy like other workstations, but it's certainly capable to do workstation types of tasks. It's got good battery life, great display, it's not loud, and if you do a lot of video calls, chances are your video quality will be better than your colleagues. Unlocking with the Windows Hello Face camera is also much better than fingerprint unlock. And what I love about Surface in general is that you're getting a clean version of Windows, sort of like why I like to use Pixel phones, which run a clean version of Android. There's no pre-installed third-party antivirus software or third-party apps to tinker with display, sound, or trackpad settings. All of that is built into Windows 10 on the Surface Book 3. So I'm very happy with this laptop, and for the next version of the Surface Book, I'd probably want to add more USB-C ports, make the trackpad bigger, change the headphone jack placement, reduce the display bezels, and possibly make the body smaller and lighter in general. So that's my review of the Surface Book 3 for Business. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I usually respond right away. My next review is going to be the Surface Laptop 3 or Lenovo ThinkPad P15, which is another insane workstation. Subscribe to the channel so you'll get notified when those reviews go live. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.